What's up guys, Darkdally here, playing Ghost Recon Wildlands, and today I finally want to get to something that's been much requested recently, and that's testing the BFG-50A. A lot of people have wanted to see how this thing performs. Now, I think the best thing to do to start off would be to compare it to the other BFG, the Extranjeros BFG. Well, first of all, let's see how it does killing a target with one shot. Alright, so it'll kill a chopper with one shot. I haven't really used the BFG, either version of it, much, but I have heard that the Extranjeros doesn't always kill with one shot. We'll test that out. We'll test that out a little bit. Now, I want this to be a test of the BFG. I have the Extranjeros equipped because I figure it might be a decent starting point for comparison. As long as we're right here, we're at 350 meters. Let's go ahead and check the bullet drop of these. We know the Extranjeros BFG has almost no bullet drop at this range. What about the regular BFG? I'm not sure how many people use the regular version. Let's go ahead and find out how it compares to this. And if it doesn't compare to this, we're going to compare it to some other rifles and find, what it's on par with. Now, one, cool thing about the BFG is it's a 50 caliber, but it's also semi-automatic. So you can get a decent amount of shots out. I don't think it's going to be as fast firing as the SR25. No, it seems actually about the same fire rate. That's a pretty good fire rate. That's a lot of lead you're putting downrange pretty quick. Let's go ahead and check this at 350 meters on my standard kind of bullet drop test I've been doing. Now again, we're aiming at a different place in the wall, so we can't compare this to any of my previous bullet drops. That's okay, because I'm doing this by a new system, as you guys probably know now. We're taking one rifle and finding what it compares against. Instead of just comparing them all, we're like, well, where does this kind of fit, Let's find out. So let's go ahead and get this right at 350 meters. There we go. It looks like it hit about halfway down the wall. As long as we still have our sight picture, let's go ahead and grab the Extranjeros so we don't have to move our aim. Okay, that obviously hit much higher. Let's see what the difference is. So the regular BFG-50A does not have the same lack of bullet drop that the Extranjeros has. Let's see what it does have. Let's move up here to where I can recon it, and let's go check this out and see. We'll clearly be able to tell which bullet hole is which. Okay, so the Extranjeros hits up here. As you can see, it only drops about 8 or so inches, even at 350 meters. The regular BFG hit down here. Alright, so we might want to find a different rifle to compare this with. Let's take a wild guess here. Let's take a wild stab. Let's grab a different 50 caliber rifle. Let's grab the HTI. Let's grab the HTI. Now let's make sure we know what parts we have. On the BFG-50A I was just shooting, I have a long barrel, the T5XI tactical. Okay, pretty standard setup. Let's make sure my HTI is set up the same way. Yep, they're set up the exact same way. They both have long barrels, the T5XI. They're both suppressed. Not that that's going to affect our bullet drop. Let's just see. This might hit closer. The Extranjeros BFG, along with the SR25 Jungle and the Mark 14 Captain, the Mark 14 Occult, and the HTA Muddy Bones all have basically no bullet drop. And I'm not sure if it's an oversight by Ubisoft or if it was purposeful, but those rifles really just don't have any bullet drop. So let's compare the BFG-50A to just a regular HTI. Let's just see how this does. Let's wait for my breath. There we go. That looked closer. That looked about the same as where the BFG-50A hit. Let's go up here, recon this shot, and find out. And then I'd also like to do some damage testing on this, and we'll find a good way to do that. It should drop everything with one shot. I mean, it is a 50 caliber BMG. And yes, as you can see right there, it hit right directly. Here, I'll move up so you can see, so I don't need to zoom in on the video editing. You can see right here, it hit side by side with the HTI. So it's looking like the BFG-50A, just the regular version, is going to be right on par with the HTI. At least it is here. We know it kills everything in one shot. Let's go test that a little bit more. And they have the exact same bullet drop. The difference is going to be that the BFG-50A is semi-automatic and has about the same rate of fire as an SR25 or a Dragunov, it feels like. Now, there's one other thing to take into consideration. A lot of people I know personally, feel that the Extranjeros BFG is too OP. They feel it's too overpowered. It's too easy to just take a shot because you can kill everything with one shot, and it has basically no bullet drop. A lot of people feel it's a crutch, that it's overpowered, etc. That said, maybe if you feel that way, the regular BFG-50A might be more your style. It's more like the other sniper rifles. Let's go ahead and take a shot with this thing. Alright, so it definitely killed these cars in one shot, but that's not really the test we want to see. We want to put it through a little more. Let's go out here where we can take a convoy if we want to, and we're more free here to call in other vehicles. There's less buildings and enemies and stuff in the way. Let's go out here. Alright, so I've called in 2 vehicles. I've called in 2 identical vehicles. I've called in the armored SUV. Because these are my cars, they're going to be extra tough. So this is going to be about the toughest vehicle you'd run into. This has full armor. It's my vehicle, and it's an armored SUV. Let's go ahead and take a shot with each rifle and just see. Because I'm doing this because I've heard tell that the Extranjeros BFG doesn't always kill everything in one shot. So let's get a set distance away from these guys too. Let's back up to 100 meters on each. Let's back up to 100 meters on this guy. All right, here we are at 100 meters from the truck, and we've got the regular BFG-50A. Let's see what it does. Let's just hit it in the door. All right, so that's one shot. I don't think it's dead yet. All right, so that took 2 shots. Took 2 shots with the BFG-50A at 100 meters to take down that vehicle. Granted, those are pretty tough vehicles right there. All right, here we are at 100 meters from the other truck. Let's pull out the, let's get that Extranjeros back. Some of these new weapons that they're coming out with now, some of these new weapon skins are coming with different stats than the base weapons. They never used to. All of the old, before year 2, all of the variants that came out were identical to their regular counterparts when fitted with the same parts. But here, with these year 2 weapons, and with the stuff from Fallen Ghosts, we're starting to see, we're seeing deviation here in some of this. Let's check this out. Let's just hit it in the same place with the Extranjeros BFG. And it looks like we're going to see the same thing. That did not kill it. Let's hit it one more time. Alright, that did not kill it either. So it took 3 shots. Let's see this convoy chopper here. Of course, I would hit the pilot on accident, wouldn't I? Of course. Did it kill the convoy? No, it doesn't look like it killed the convoy truck. Well, I think it's pretty safe to say the Extranjeros does less damage than the regular BFG. I think it's pretty safe to say. Is the convoy still? Yeah, the convoy's still alive. So, well, it's dead now, but that's going to be from gunfire. So it looks like people were right. The Extranjeros BFG has almost no bullet drop, but at the same time, it does appear to do less damage than just the regular BFG. If I were to use one of them, I would use the regular one. It doesn't have that overpowered bullet drop. Of course, sure, none of the bullet drop in this game, I don't think is considered realistic, but it doesn't feel like I'm cheating as much because it's more like what I'm used to shooting with. The regular BFG-50 has similar bullet drop to the other rifles in the game. It's right in line with the HTI. What's bullet drop really matter? Once you learn it, it doesn't matter at all. You just, what's the difference between shooting that guy on this mil dot, or this mil dot? What's it matter? It's just how much you move your scope. So that said, I would choose the regular BFG-50A. Also, you can put your own camo on it and you can customize it how you want. So I say overall, it's probably a better weapon. I think it looks better. I was never a fan of this particular paint job here. I don't think it doesn't suit me really. I'd rather do something more like this, and make it fit my camo, customize the colors of the individual parts, etc. This is a pretty cool weapon because it's semi-automatic. It's still not overpowered because it's got a long reload time. It only holds a 5-round magazine. I think this is, as far as things go, like in this game, this is much more realistic. It's a much more realistic weapon, and it's not as much of a Mary Sue as the Extranjeros BFG. So guys, that's my opinion on the BFG-50. You've seen it here in action. I could test it more thoroughly, but I don't need a terribly long video. You can see it has average bullet drop, and it seems to do about the same damage as the HTI. It's going to drop anything in one shot. One thing we should test though, well, let's test it against a radar jammer and then call that good. That is something that we should do. All right, so here we are with the radar jammer in sight. This is just one thing I want to do. I'm kind of doing these tests a little less organized than I have in the past. So guys, if there's something else you want to see, if there's other questions you have, I think I've been fairly thorough, but if there's something you really want me to test out more on it, I will do so. But I want to move on to some of these other sniper rifles as well. Let's go ahead and... Yes, sir, it will drop a radar jammer in one shot. All right, and just for good measure, here we are at the same radar jammer. I've simply reset it. We got the Extranjeros BFG. Let's just see. I'm just curious. Okay, it does too. It does seem... Okay, it destroys it too. It does seem to do less damage on vehicles as it took one extra shot on my SUV, and it didn't appear to destroy that convoy truck in the first shot. It looks like the Extranjeros BFG is going to be a little reliable when it comes to one-shotting vehicles. Now, that's not something you should necessarily expect, except for the fact that this is an anti-material rifle, and that's what they do. As you can see, it did not destroy that car in one shot. That's just a Cadillac, and it did not destroy it in one shot. So, between the two, I think you're better off going with the regular BFG. Now, coming up, I would like to compare these new rifles that have the crazy bullet drop, which hardly, you know, the ones that shoot so flat, like the Extranjeros BFG, and compare it with the HTI Muddy Bones, the MK14 Occult, and the SR25 Jungle. All of those rifles together, they all hit in the same place. They have basically no bullet drop. They do various different amounts of damage. That is something I would like to test in the future. But as for today's test, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying the BFG-50A, the BFG-50A is the winner. It does more reliable damage when it needs to be done. It's still semi-auto. It's got the 5-round magazine. It's really good to fire. You just got to adjust a little more when you aim, but we should be used to doing that anyway. All right, guys, that's it for me today. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Guys, it's been a real pleasure. I'm Darkdally. I will catch you guys next time.